From dominating at the high school level, as it was practically way too easy for him, to signing a $1 million contract at just the age of 17 years old, this specific generational type point guard has simply lived for the big moments and has always had a certain type of charisma reminiscent to Russell Westbrook and a first step similar to John Wall. And despite all the expectations and the slander that's come his way, he was always taught to stay level-headed through it all from some of the closest people in his life. This is the Scoot Henderson story. Sterling Jewel Henderson was born on February 3rd, 2004 in Marietta, Georgia. His father, Chris Henderson, gave him the nickname Scoot way back when he was just a toddler and used to scoot across the basketball court. Now, basketball was not his first love because growing up he was a straight dog on the football field. And from the dominance he displayed on the field, it was almost as if he was made for it because he was just a couple steps ahead of everyone else. And the footwork and the aggressive type physical mindset he used on the field really translated to the basketball court. Now, his father was also his trainer and coach and really helped mold him into a strong individual. And together, his mom and dad decided to create a training facility by the name of Next Play 360 Degrees. But coming up throughout his upbringing, his parents really steered him towards the gym instead of the streets of Marietta. And truthfully, he was always the type of player to wake up as early as 5 a.m. to sharpen up his craft, and honestly just took full advantage of having 24-hour access to a basketball court. And since he was the second youngest of 7 siblings, including 3 older sisters who all played Division I basketball, Scoot and his younger sister Crystal really became inspired, and the both of them took their hooping dreams to the next level. And the work that Scoot and his father put in on a daily in the gym, constantly sharpening up his craft, really paid off, as he was a dog and showed outstanding poise as just a kid. So much so to whereas his mother would even have to bring his birth certificate to the game just to prove that he was the same age as the other players, as the opposing team's parents and fans just couldn't wrap their heads around a kid doing the things that he was able to produce on the court. But all that would just be little glimpses of what he had coming into high school, and the anticipation that Scoot Henderson had coming into the 9th grade and possibly being one of the next guys to take his talents out of Atlanta really started to grow. And while attending Cale High School, he came off the bench and played alongside his older brother CJ, who was a senior at the time. There, Scoot would start to blossom into one of the more so athletic, explosive guards on his team, but just kept developing into his frame. And by his sophomore season, his improvements allowed him to score a career high 49 points and even made the game-winning shot in a crazy 92-91 overtime win against Miller Grove High School in the first round of the Class 5A state tournament. But he didn't stop there, as he went on to lead his squad to the semifinals and even averaged 24 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists, but also displayed his outstanding two-way ability and really used his 6'9" wingspan well, pairing up with his athleticism, as he was able to average 3 steals per contest. Henderson was able to end his sophomore season being named Class 5A Player of the Year and First Team 5A All-State by the Atlanta Journal-Constitution on January 22nd, 2021. As a junior, he went off for 53 points in a 94-64 win against Osborne High School, which broke the program's single-game career scoring record. By now, he was easily regarded as one of, if not the best overall point guard in his class, but it was also obvious by then that he was next up in being a top-tier talent coming out of Atlanta, Georgia, Cobb County to be exact, as the lineup at the guard position has been relatively strong over the last decade. Henderson went on to will his team to the Class 6A state title game. There, he put up 29 points, but in a loss to Wheeler High School. Still, that year, he simply obliterated the talent and hardly any defenders could stay in front of him. He finished his junior season being able to average 32 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists, which allowed him to earn the Class 6A Player of the Year and First Team 6A All-State honors. At the end of his junior year, he had a plethora of offers from collegiate programs around the country, but he made the decision to decline all those offers and took the risk to play for the G League Ignite, being able to graduate as just an 11th grader. And just like that, he became the youngest player ever in G League history at just the age of 17 to join on a 2-year, $1 million contract instead of spending his senior year and going to college. Now, things didn't start off so welcoming, as the 6'2" guard was sidelined due to a rib injury, which kept him out a bit. But in November of 2021, he was able to finally make his NBA G League Ignite debut and scored a solid 8 points, grabbing 6 rebounds in a 115-103 win against the South Bay Lakers. And truthfully, he just needed to get the ball rolling a little bit, because by his second game, he knew what to expect, and because of that, it resulted in the well-talented guard going for 31 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists versus the Santa Cruz Warriors. In All-Star Weekend that same season, he was just one of 4 Ignite players that were blessed to compete in the Rising Stars Challenge, in which he came into his own even more. Now, throughout that season, he suited up in 11 games for the G League Showcase Cup, but even played 10 exhibition games where he was able to maintain averages of 14 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists. But in October of 2022 was where the real hype started to come around. Scoot Henderson facing off against Victor Wembanyama. In the first game, Henderson went off for 28 points, 9 assists, and 5 rebounds in a win. Couple days later, injury was struck in the second game after suffering a bone bruise in his right knee during the first quarter. Not too long after, Henderson would suffer a nasal fracture and a concussion, which left him out of the lineup for a total of 11 games before returning in December. Now, in March of 2023, he announced that he would not play the last 5 remaining games of the season. This was after averaging 18 points, 6 assists, and 5 rebounds to go along with 1 steal per game in a total of 25 appearances. And after being projected a top 3 pick and declaring for the 2023 NBA draft, all of his hard work had paid off on practically the biggest day of his life.
The 3rd pick in the 2023 NBA draft, the Portland Trail Blazers select Scoot Henderson from Marietta, Georgia, and the NBA G League's Team Ignite.
Scoot Henderson, big game, big personality, of course, from the G League Ignite, following in the footsteps of Jalen Green.
Scoot Henderson had a goal in mind and wasn't going to let anybody get him off track, but also paired his gifted physical tools well with his relentless type work ethic, which has resulted in him becoming a fan favorite and a potential face of the NBA.
No matter who's calling me, I'm blessed to be here. I got to thank the ones that got me here in the first place. I'm young, but I got a mature mindset, and that's to work, and that's to come in and make a real impact, and not just the basketball side, but in the community, so they getting a special player, a special person.
And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Scoot Henderson story.